Good morning, folks. I thought I'd go over one of the things I love to do in my spare time, and that's diamond paintings. Now, I got this light board off of Amazon, and it comes with the stand, and you see the stand. Some of the things you're going to need to do a diamond painting is not talked about. You're definitely going to need reading glasses, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. And you're going to need something to put your gems in with some labels, so you can label it. Again, I'm going to show you why in just a minute. You're going to need glue, and you're going to need to buy a frame. Now, this one is a special order, and it will come in a package like this. And you see it's all nice and packaged up. All the gems are inside the painting. And to open it, you got one little side here to open it. Now, I'm going to set you down here for just a second while I pull this out. When you get your painting, you're going to have to unroll it, okay? And inside the painting, I told you this one's a special order. Inside the painting, you're going to get everything that goes with the painting. You're going to get all of your little gems, right? They're going to be in little packets. You're going to get a set of little tweezers, right, to be able to take off gems that you misplaced. And you're going to get glue, the little glue sticks, right, and the little pens to pick up the gems with. Now, some of these paintings are very complicated, right? This is one of those. So what I do is I set it on the light board. See, I set it on the light board. And I have little clips, right? It's just little clips that I clip it to the light board. Now, as I said, this is a special order. It is very big, as you can see, because this is my larger light bar. And it is going to be a snake dragon in the snow. So, but it's from China, right? And this one, as you can see, is 40 by 50 centimeters. Okay, so it's a large one. So when you order your frames, what I have noticed is, let me pull back some of this contact paper, right? It's got a little piece of contact paper on the outside of it, and you pull it back, and you'll see, I don't know if you can see that, but you'll see all the lettering, right? But what they do is when they measure this painting, they measure from the edge of the painting, not the edge of the white, okay? And I've noticed that really to get the proper frame, what you need to do is you need to measure the actual picture. You know, you want to measure it up and you want to measure it across. But what you'll come out with, even then, sometimes the frames, like I noticed the regular 30 by 40 centimeter frames, the pictures are not 30 by 40 centimeters, right? They're actually like 9.5 by 13. Now, when you're done, it'll look something like this, right? Now, I'm going to walk you down the hallway here. Sorry, it's dark. Yeah, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, so. One of the other things you're going to need is you're going to need this glue, okay? And this glue, you use this glue. I use this one. Also made in China. I have no problem buying stuff from China. They make good things. I wish they had an American company that did this, but they don't. Now, as you can see, I have aluminum foil down on the top of my table. Okay, and the reason I have aluminum foil down is when you put this glue on top of that canvas, right, because it's canvas. And when you put the glue on that canvas, it can leak through the canvas to the table. So you want to put aluminum foil down to protect the top of the table. They don't tell you that, right? Another thing that they don't tell you about is you need a good pair of scissors, right? Because you're going to have to cut the... I'll show you here on this one. You see the little white? Okay. So, this was one that I ordered, right? Because I happen to love the Dragon Riders of Pern. And this is one of those, right? It's like Dragonlance or Dragon Riders of Pern or something like that. But anyway, it was a beautiful, beautiful painting. And they don't tell you that when you do this, you really want to put a very heavy glue on it, and you want it to sit for about 24 to 48 hours. Now, the problem you have is when you order the frames are going to be smaller than the picture. So a lot of times what you have to do is you have to trim the bottom of the painting, okay? And the edge of the paintings. Otherwise, like on this one, see, this one was slightly smaller than this frame. So what I do is I take the plastic, right? Because it's a plastic instead of glass, it's plastic. And I take that out and I lay it on top of the painting. And then I just take a pin and I run along the edge of that plastic. You know, I center that plastic on the picture so I know exactly where I need to trim it, and I've got a line to follow when I'm cutting, because I'm not great at cutting. So, I have two light boards. I have this one, which is absolutely fantastic. This is an Art Dot, and this has lasted me 2 years. And it's great for these smaller paintings. But as you saw, that one I'm getting ready to start, it's a large painting. So, I bought this for Christmas, and it's LED. And I'm trying to, right? It's made in China. It's a LED light pad. It's got adjustable brightness. It's A3, and it comes with your instructions on how to use the light board. Blah blah blah. Right? Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Hoff, for actually giving me my bonus for losing 40 pounds this year, and so I was able to buy this. I definitely needed it because when I'm doing the bigger paintings with the smaller one, I love the smaller one. It's a lot easier to maneuver around and use, especially if I'm doing a smaller painting like this one. But on the bigger paintings, you need a bigger light board. And the reason I say you need a light board, okay, we're going back down the hallway, is because if you don't light up behind the canvas, you can't see the little lettering codes, okay? And you just push a button. Let me see here. If I don't knock it down. So you just push a button and it lights up, right? Like I said, I highly recommend that you get a really good pair of reading glasses to see this. Okay, now one of the things I've noticed is when you're doing this, a lot of times a picture will have one or two stones that are in the wrong place. Okay, this is because the AI cannot see the picture, so it tends to want to put colors everywhere on it. So you're going to have to use your own artistic talent to, once you finish the painting, to go back and look at it and, well, that stone doesn't really belong there, and so you use the tweezers to pull that stone out and put the proper stone in. I call them stones. They're actually little plastic beads, right? And they're all, as you can see, they all have numbers on them. And you go by a coding bar on the side here. See, you'll have a coding bar for each one of those, and it'll tell you the corresponding number, what letter that is on the painting. Now, some of these also use symbols. This one is fairly large, so yes, it uses symbols. But what I do is I start in a corner, right? I'll start right here in a corner, and I'll go from a corner up, all right? And what you want to make sure of, I don't know if you can see, but if you want to make sure of is you want to follow that line. See that? Hoping my phone will focus here. It's not going to do it. But you want to follow this line as straight as you can possibly follow it. And what I do is once I get a good section done, then I'll move the painting over, right? And I'll slowly move the painting over and work like this, right? And you can turn it upside down, straight side up, however you want to do it, especially with these larger paintings. Now, once I get all the stones on it, what I do is I take it and I lay it flat on my table in the back. And see, it's a touch. And once I lay it on the table in the back, then I put weight on it, and I let weight sit on it for about 24 hours, and that's to flatten the painting out. You want to make sure you have the painting flattened out, because if it's not flat, when you go to frame it, then you're going to have ripples in your painting, and you don't want that, right? So this one here is probably going to take me quite a bit of time to do, because it is an 11 by 22. So it's fairly large, right? You can see it doesn't even fit on the biggest light stand that I have. Now, what I have found is you can buy the ones that are pre-made like this, but they also do what they call custom paintings. Coffee. They have what they do called custom paintings. And with custom paintings, you can actually do people, which I do quite a few of the people, but this is where I get a lot of people wanting me to do them. And these are pets, right? And I will say this. When you order a custom painting, you need to be as close in on your subject as possible. And you want a good background. Because if you don't have a good background, you're going to get the painting, you're going to look at the painting, and you're going to go, okay, they got all of the background, but they missed the pet. This happened with Tiger here. This was my cat, Tiger. And she was 29 when she passed in March. So, you can see she's a beautiful cat. And it's all gems to make the picture, right? And it does glisten like that. You see all the glistening? It does glisten like that. No matter where you're at in the room, it glistens. All of them do it, right? See, all of them do it. This was Doc Holliday, and Doc was 10 when he passed. Unfortunately, someone poisoned him. This was my trucking dog, and as you can see, I'm in the truck. This was the only picture I had of my trucking dog. This was Buddy Holly. And Buddy Holly was only 5 when he passed. Unfortunately, he had, due to his breed, he had back problems and hip problems, and eventually cancer ate him up. And this, of course, is my dog Duke, right? Who yesterday turned 13. So you can do custom paintings. I highly recommend that you do something. And the reason I say you do something, even if you don't like the diamond paintings, I also do these, right? I buy them at the Dollar General, and I color them, right? And it's just something to do, especially if you're like snowed in or bored, right? But the reason I say you need to do something is you need to keep your brain, the creativity side of your brain, working, okay? Because what we have going on right now, which no one's talking about, is we're having we're in the solar maximum. And part of that solar maximum means that we're getting inundated with a lot more like solar radiation and gamma rays and things of this nature. And it is affecting the brains of mammals, okay? And one of the things that it's doing is it's causing the creativity side of the human brain to not fire as fast as it used to. So you need to do things to keep that going in your brain, or you're going to lose the ability to come up with ideas. And this is happening to artists all over the world. I'm not just talking about here in the U.S. I'm talking about artists all over the world are starting to have issues coming up with new ideas, new creative ideas. Okay? And it's something that, they're not talking about in the news. I say you need to do things like this to help focus your brain. Okay? You're so inundated every day with all the craziness going on in the world, especially if you're like me and you work anywhere from 8 to 16 hours a day. By the time you get home, you just want to eat and sleep, right? But you need to do something to keep your brain active. And so you need to do something which focuses your brain and has you focus down on a task. Another thing that this does is this gives you a sense of accomplishment once you've finished it. It takes a long time. And I would recommend that you not start with a big one like this, but you start with one of the smaller paintings, especially if you're new to it. Start with one of the smaller paintings. It's very easy for you to do, that you can enjoy doing. Once you get into it, you'll never stop, okay? Now, another thing about these diamond paintings is they do not do well in extreme temperature change, because obviously it's glue that's holding the stones to the canvas. So you don't want to let it freeze, because the glue can crack. And you don't want to have it too hot, because then the glue can melt, right? And so can the little beads, right? So it needs to be kind of in a good temperature controlled area. And, knowledge comes from doing, right? I can read every book out there, but if I don't do it, yeah, the knowledge is there, but if you don't use that knowledge, it vanishes, right? It disappears out of your brain. How many of you know this, that when you were younger in school, you could recite things out of the textbooks right off, okay? But as you got older, a lot of that stuff that you knew back then vanishes, okay? This is because your brain tends to overwrite things that you don't use as far as knowledge goes. And so I recommend that you do some kind of artwork, or even reading a book, right? That has absolutely nothing to do with anything. It's just a good book. I, of course, have got 3 books that I'm reading right now. And it for me, I can keep track of the story as I read all 3 books, okay? But that has taken years for me to learn how to do that. All right, that's just from doing. Okay, same thing with uh, anything that you do in life. If you need to build something, you're not just going to go out there and start throwing wood together, right? You're gonna read something or research it to find out, well, how do I build this? How do I do this? And then you'll follow that guidelines, and then it'll get to the point where you've done it so many times that now you do not have to think about it. Okay? Another good example is gardening, right? I have in my backyard, right? I have 3/4 of an acre, and in my backyard, I have 13 raised beds. I have 5 potato barrels and 2 just regular huge planters. So I know exactly what is going to go where already for next year. The reason I know this is because I rotate my crops. I plant different things in different beds every year, okay? And I just know this from doing. For those who are new to that, you need to research what crops grow good together and what crops don't. A good example is you do not want to put onions with garlic. If you put onions with garlic, you're going to end up with all what I like to call garlic onions. Okay, you'll end up with onions that taste like garlic and garlic that tastes like onions. Okay, those two plants you need to keep separated. Another good example is you don't want to plant small plants inside like your cucumber plants, right? Because your cucumbers will literally choke them out. Or your bean plants, okay? They'll choke them out. All right? So that takes practice and that takes knowledge. And you can read every book in the world, but if you don't put your hands in the dirt and you don't put your hands on something to focus your brain, you're not going to have that knowledge when shift happens. Now, note, I said when, not if. When. Because I believe that we're moving into a time when it's going to be similar to the Great Depression. For some of us, we're already there, okay, unfortunately. But we're moving into a very, very dangerous time. And we see that, right? We see that right here, even in the country. I mean, got on Nextdoor app, and a lady right around the corner from me, about 3 blocks away, somebody went on her back porch and took her package for her daughter for Christmas, right? That was special ordered. Okay, so we're already seeing that, especially if you live in the city. You're already seeing that. Okay, so to get away from all of that craziness, you need to have a little bit of time where it's quiet, and you can focus your brain. Now, obviously, I have a lot more time than some people because I don't have children running around, and I don't have family here, right? It's just me and the puppy dog and my chickens, right? But you need to do something. I mean, even if it's only an hour a week, even if it's nothing more than taking a hot bubble bath, right? And allowing the stress that is going on a day-to-day, everyday, attacking your brain and attacking your joy, and it's just, you're worried about the bills, you're worried about the food, putting the food on the table, you're worried about this, and you're worried, all that worry, you need to be able to shut it off for about an hour or two every week. Otherwise, you're going to go absolutely insane. And we see that happening all over the place. So this is something I like to do. And I get up early in the morning and do it. And with my coffee. And I enjoy my coffee. And you need to do that, right? And I hope this helps y'all. Like I said, this one is a special order, so we've got to we've got to get started on it. I do these paintings, and normally I only charge for the painting itself and the frame, because I enjoy actually doing the painting. But the custom paintings are more expensive. This one right here cost me about $100 to do, and these here were about $75 a piece, right? So that's including the frame. So it's something I enjoy doing. It's something that keeps my creative energy going. And as we move into more and more of the chaos coming, right? Because I do believe we're going to see a lot of chaos next year. We need a way to calm ourselves down and refocus so that we don't completely lose it, right? We don't want to lose it. We want to be completely calm with everything we do. And as a Christian myself, you want to be able to help your neighbor. Well, you can't help your neighbor if you're completely stressed out and totally losing it over something stupid, okay? And so this is a way that I have found, especially with my PTSD, this is a way for me, instead of taking all the medications, which is offered, trust me, I have found a way to calm myself. Now, you can figure out something that you enjoy doing. It could be nothing more than reading a good book. But you need to be able to shut the world off for about an hour a week. You need to just shut it off, right? Just remember the blessings which you have received, okay? And just calm down, right? I see so many people losing it on a daily basis. This is why I made this video today. And another thing, as a prepper, you want to do things and have things available that you can do in case you get into what we call a lockdown situation where you can't leave your house. So this is a way to do it. And yes, I need to take the trash, as you see. It's minor, right? That's a minor issue. People get all bent out of shape about, oh, your house is a mess. Yeah, okay. It's a minor issue. You know, it's more important that you live life. It's more important that you enjoy the time that God has given you, right? It's more important to be there for family and friends than it is to worry about, oh, I got a little bit of dust on my tables. Oh, I got a little bit of trash that needs to go. Oh, well, it'll get done. I'm just not focusing on that every day, right? I focus on what needs to be done every day. And, yeah, practice your knowledge, whether it be canning, whether it be building a chicken coop, whether it be building a fence. Practice it. Learn how to do it. Put your hands on it. Do it. Me telling you how to can is not going to help you can, because as you do things, you will find that There's questions, there's things that I do automatically and I don't even think to mention, right? I'm sure it's like that with other people that do things on a day-to-day basis, that they just do it and they don't think to mention it. It's the same way with driving a truck. I drive a truck. I do things so fast sometimes that people are like, how did you pull in, drop a load, and hook to another load and leave out within 15 minutes? Because I'm so used to doing my pre-trip, I do it with speed, right? I just do it. I don't miss anything, because if I notice something wrong, it glares out at me. But this is from doing. Anything that you want to do, that you think, oh, I'm just going to go fish, I'm just going to go hunt. Well, if you don't fish and hunt, you haven't a clue how hard that is, right? Deer ain't just going to walk out there and let you shoot them. That's not going to happen, right? You got to be able to know how to track them, know where they feed, know where they water, etc., 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 right? Same thing with fish. You got to know what kind of bait to use. You got to know when those fish are biting, right? They just don't bite all day long, right? So, and you got to know where they're at. So, I'm going to finish my coffee, and I'm going to get started on this painting, and I'll probably do this painting for about an hour or so, and then I'm going to go out and I got to work on my chicken coop, right? And the reason I got to work on my chicken coop is I noticed last night, you know that I had this problem before where I had a rat getting into my chicken coop. Well, I noticed last night he's done figured out another way to get in there, so I got to go out there and work on the chicken coop and try and seal that up. Otherwise, you know, rats will eat your chickens. I don't know if you knew that. So I got to do that too, right? And you can see my hair's a mess. I don't care, right? That's minor. That's minor stuff, right? Very minor stuff. Your brain, work your brain. You know, use the knowledge that is available to you. Put your hands on it. Because if you don't put your hands on it, the knowledge is going to go away. Okay? Bicycle. Love ya. Leave a comment. Bicycle.